Ammar Siddiqui, again with you with a great session about career talks and how we can build our careers and grow in our careers. And today, I have a friend, Seven Mosho, joining in from the US. He is an expert in social media marketing, particularly on TikTok and Google Ads. And he's going to share his story, his journey, how he started, how he established his agency, what are some of the things that we should do if we want to start an agency, what are things that we need to learn, and what are some of the mistakes that we often make in developing our own entrepreneurial career. And we'll talk about his own challenges and how he deals with those challenges. So this is a great opportunity for all of us, for all the friends who have joined in on LinkedIn, on Facebook, and want to be part of it. You will learn a lot. So stay till the end. It's going to be a 30 minutes crisp, very targeted session in which you will learn how to grow in your career if you want to be part of a social media team or you want to learn how to grow your own business within the space of social media. So without any further ado, I'm going to bring this young fellow live. Hey, Seven, how are you?
Hey, I'm great. How about you?
Absolutely fine. Today is sunny and it's plus temperatures in Toronto, so I am glad. Plan is to go out for a walk after this call and enjoy some sun. So, Seven, I think it's good if we share this story with people who are with us. And I request everyone to please share where are they joining in from and what they do, so that we could display some names. And if you have any questions as we go along, we'll be happy to respond. And Seven will be happy to respond because he's the expert in this field. So, but I really wanted to mention how did we meet? So, Seven and I have been first degree connections on LinkedIn, and the power of networking on LinkedIn is so amazing. Um, I mean, a lot of people don't really believe in it, but when something happens, they really start believing in it. But Seven and I never spoke, right? You know, he never commented on my post. I probably never have commented on his post. Uh, a week ago, or maybe about 10 days ago, I spotted a post. So he wrote that he really wants to share what he knows about TikTok and Google Ads and stuff like that, social media marketing. And says, is there a possibility of joining a podcast? And I spotted that, and I run these podcasts every Thursday. So I said, yeah, Seven, let's talk. And we had a chat, and now today we are helping others understand how they can grow in their career. And he'll be sharing his own story. And this is the beauty of social media. This is the beauty of LinkedIn, particularly, where you can connect with people, with professionals like Seven and myself and so many others, and learn from them. So thank you very much. We have people joining in from various countries, from India, from Dubai, from Pakistan. Um, I'm sure so many that are joining in on my Facebook, which I will just go and look at. Um, so this is seven. Sorry, I pronounce it
It's
with a
fine.
bit of
It's
seven.
all good.
So please share your story. How did you even start this whole journey? Uh, and became a social media marketing expert, particularly in these two areas.
Right. First, I have an advertising agency. Like you said, we're on Facebook, Google, and TikTok ads. And how I got into marketing at first was I was in college, and really I was just trying a few different things to make money. And I have a passion for traveling. So pretty much early on, I knew I want to do something that's possible to work remotely for, right? So I tried a lot of different marketing things. I kind of started posting on LinkedIn about, I want to say, August 2020, but I didn't know anybody on there. Like, our connection to me is still crazy. Like, all of a sudden you connect with people and those type of things. And so I just started posting, and then after a while, I kind of found my voice. I kind of found out that what I want to do is more about advertising. So, I started adjusting my content on LinkedIn. And from there, things, just kind of take off. Once you know a certain amount of people, it just kind of snowballs. So then I just started improving, lately going all in on TikTok ads because I realized nobody on LinkedIn talks about TikTok ads. So I saw a niche for me, which, you get Facebook and Google ads clients still from LinkedIn, but, if you pick a topic not a lot of people talk about, it attracts a lot of eyes. So that means eyes on the rest of your business too, right?
Yeah.
Like you said, a lot of people hit me up about TikTok ads, and we end up working on Google and Facebook ads too. And yeah, so for me, it was really just the thought of working remotely, being able to travel. Especially me, I'm not from the US. I live in the US right now, but I'm from Germany. So I knew at some point I was going to move away from the US. So I wanted to have something that works no matter if I'm in the US, in Germany, in Australia, India, wherever I am. So that's kind of the story how I got into it. Just, looking for something that complements my passion for traveling. And yeah, I am.
Awesome, awesome. And so then I actually worked in 12 countries before settling down in Canada in 2019. And so from Turkey to, well, in US, Canada also, but Turkey, I actually worked with British government for 17 years at British Foreign Office based in the I was based in Pakistan, but I was of course traveling within UK a lot. So Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, India, Pakistan, a bit in Afghanistan. I never visited Afghanistan, but I worked on some projects. Iran, never visited Iran, but that's a project that we worked in my previous job, which was an entrepreneurship development project with an Irani NGO. And then Cambodia, Philippines, Thailand, and Papua New Guinea. So
A
it's
lo-
quite
a lot of
quite a,
countries that you just mentioned are on my list to travel to. That's
yeah,
amazing.
yeah, yeah. So some of the fascinating countries that, I mean, of course, every country, every culture is so fascinating, but I personally really am very fascinated with Nepal.
Hmm.
Nepal is just phenomenal. Like, uh, it's just different. It's just too different and very foreigner friendly. First of all, the food is great, music everywhere. So, and a lot of foreigners, like, like Westerners, they come there for mountaineering, and it's cheap to live. So maybe your next destination. Good internet, by the way, so you can work there while you are working for your US clients also. And the second interesting country, which not many people go to, is Papua New Guinea. Really, difficult to live because it's pretty unsafe. Uh,
Hmm.
and But for me, it was okay. I mean, I would even walk, like after my work, walk down to the mall and eat and stuff. Uh, and usually, like, other people would get scared. Like from US Embassy, we had the instruction, don't go out like after dark and stuff. I would still go. Nobody hurt me. But it's pretty unsafe still. Um, um, in the middle of nowhere, technically speaking. So there is only one airline that goes in, which is the national airline, Air Niugini, from Singapore, from Hong Kong, and from Brisbane. That's it. So, but it's so beautiful. Like, it's so beautiful, and a fascinating place to go. So, anyways, passion to travel takes us places and helps us meet people we don't really know, and this is how networks are built. This is how businesses are built. This is how we learn. So, and I would really like to learn from you. What are some of the interesting things that you did entrepreneurially, like when you were setting up your business? um, okay, you found your passion, you had the skills. What were like two or three challenges that you had still, as a foreigner, because you're in US, you're a German? um, how did you start the whole journey? And what were some of the mistakes that you were initially making and that you realized and you fixed, and that actually helped your business grow?
Right. So I kind of go down the timeline, like from starting the business with all the struggles to where I'm today. So I think the most important thing for most people is finding clients, finding customers, those type of things, right? Um, so struggle for me was I came on LinkedIn. I never had I had a couple of jobs, but it was more like student jobs and all that. So I never had an actual job. So I had no connections on there. I literally came with zero followers, zero connections, and that for me in the beginning was a struggle, right? Finding that audience.
Yeah.
And I feel like I don't know if I would call it a mistake because people usually go through it no matter what, but it's finding your voice on social media, right?
Mhm.
Like in the beginning, I had so many interests and it wasn't necessarily advertising at first, just like marketing in general or some other things too. And it just takes a time to, find your voice on there and see what you really want to do, what you want to talk about. So for anybody out there, what I would recommend in the beginning, really, one, try a lot of different things until you find something you like. And if you have something like, I kind of niche down on that, not in a way where most people say, only talk about the one topic. I don't mean that, but I say have at least 50% of what you talk about be about the main topic. For me, I my content strategy is basically I have posts about what I do, so like social media, TikTok ads, Facebook ads. Then I have my second category is more like entertaining posts, just random stuff. And then the third one is more like personal stuff, so people get to know me as a person. So for anybody out there that's trying to get started, I'd recommend, look into these three categories. And if you don't know yet what you want to do professionally, just start with the part about yourself and talk about your journey. If you don't know what you want to do, then yeah. Um, and the second two big struggles I would say I had. So the second struggle was when I started. Once you go kind of from just dabbling with freelancing a little bit, dabbling with taking on clients, once you go to actually working with clients, it's completely different because you have to worry about setting up systems, right? The onboarding for them, serving them right, and like kind of managing your time because now people rely on you, right? People pay you money, so you kind of have to set up a strategy how you work for them, what you do for them, all these onboarding things and all that I talked about. So that's something people should definitely be aware of. Like, get ready. Like, once you actually go into building a business and you don't try to just freelance anymore, it's a whole different thing. Like, all these systems and future steps you have to worry about. And then I think the third big thing, especially for me as a foreigner in the US and just me traveling a lot, is the administrative stuff, right? Like building your LLC, how do you pay taxes, especially with me traveling? Where do I even pay taxes? Like
Yeah.
that's still a struggle because I'm about to move back to Germany for 3 months, and then do I still pay U.S. taxes? After that, do I pay taxes somewhere entirely else? So I'd say the third biggest thing that I have right now, my current issue, usually is like all the administrative stuff, which I'm trying to find a team of like bookkeepers and accountants for. I hope that's the
Oh,
three
yeah.
main things I had.
Absolutely. So, just to summarize it, I think uh, I always say, knowing your why is really important. Your reason
Yeah,
to be out there and be seen, and once you know your why, that actually sets the direction for whole entrepreneurial journey or any career journey for that matter, really. Uh, and then you can start like productizing if you're an entrepreneur, like what will be the shape and the dimension of your product will be or services. How would you price it? Who's going to buy it? How will you reach out to them? Do you already have a community or you want to build a community? uh, how would you build trust and credibility in the marketplace? And of course, how would you stay compliant, whatever legal compliance is, insurance, your bankers, your how would you get paid and stuff. So it is an interesting journey always for new entrepreneurs. And this is what I always encourage, connect with people like me or like Seven, who have been through it, and who can not only you get inspiration, number one, and you get content actually really helps people understand what their direction could be. So setting that direction up, and slowly experimenting with things. So I'm a big fan of experimenting. When I started So I've been coaching and mentoring for 20, well, 36 years now, but I never created an online course.
Hmm.
It was only last year when I was almost forced by one of the contacts who had an e-learning platform, and it's called Al Nafe. Um, they actually are teaching emerging technologies, and so they wanted me to develop, and they had everything, like, emerging technologies, no issue, because they had everything. What they did not have is a course that could actually help these graduates learn how they can leverage link power of LinkedIn to find job opportunities or freelancing opportunities. So they kind of almost forced me to develop something, and I was like, I struggled, like, what do I say? Because when you're coaching people, like, in a physical environment, it's a very different thing from a Zoom environment. And now you are not even seeing your client or your student. They're learning themselves. But that was an interesting journey. So I did that one course, and literally after that, I became so kind of, by doing it, become an expert in creating courses. And I actually created, in the last 6 months, 6 courses. And these courses are available online. And I now have 2 clients who I'm coaching how to develop courses. So what the thing is that, you once you have once you know your why, and you know how to productize, you actually start building your capacity, you start learning things, and you start implementing it. So, Seven, from a very purely technical standpoint, TikTok, Facebook, Google Ads, what is the difference? How does it this whole thing work? And if somebody like me, so for instance, and this is a question that I'm putting to, because that's an example that's going to help others understand also. So I have a course available, which is available online. I really want to promote that course. I want more and more people to read that course. Uh, and I talk to you. You are my agency. I talk to you. Okay, Seven, I have this course available. I really don't know, because what I'm doing at the moment, I'm selling it to the community that knows me. I've got a big following on Facebook. I've got a big following on LinkedIn. They talk to me, and um, um, they trust me, and they buy my course. But what about reaching out to people who really do not know me? What would you do for me?
Right. So first, for anybody with any product, you got to find what platform is right for you, right? So, for example, with Google and anything Google Ads, usually Google is something where people look up your product or a problem that your product solves, and that's where you want to position yourself. With a course, more often than not, people probably wouldn't look for something like that on Google, right? Like they might Google the problem they have with LinkedIn, for example, but more likely they won't. So for something like coaching, usually I'd go the route of like Facebook ads, TikTok ads, or which is within Google, YouTube ads. So something where it's like you deliver it to them instead of waiting for them to come to you, which Google search does. Then I look at, what's the best platform right now? How does it fit in there? So, again, that depends on what type of course it is. But in general, right now, TikTok has the cheapest cost per lead. So I mainly focus on e-commerce TikTok ads, and we see purchases for like $8. So we have like 3 or 4 time returns on our ads.
Okay.
Um, I also believe it depends on, if you run an agency like me, obviously you don't have to worry about the technical part, but if you run it yourself, I would look at what's the easiest platform. And with all the updates on iOS 15 and stuff, I think you need kind of a lot of strategic and technical knowledge to make Facebook ads work. They can definitely work. It's still a great platform, but right now I'd see something like TikTok ads being much easier to navigate. It's not as technical, and it's a lot of it is really on the creative side. So like, is your video good or not? So that can make it a lot easier and take a lot of stress from the technical side of things. As far as the strategy, so like go a little bit more into detail with campaign setup and stuff. Usually you just try to find the right audiences first, right? If you're completely new to advertising on a platform, you just test different audiences until you find one, and then you test different ads and see which ones work. And once you have some data on your pixel, so on the tracking for your website from the specific platform, you can go more into retargeting the audiences, that the people that have liked your post and all those things, and the people that have visited your website. And then after a while, after you experimented a little bit, it's really more, I wouldn't say automatic, but it becomes easier because you know what audience works. So you can just reuse that for future ads. Does that answer your question? Does that make sense? Does it answer the question?
Absolutely. So, let's focus on TikTok ads because, as a greedy entrepreneur, I really want to save money and I really want to be out there and be seen. But I don't have an account on TikTok so far.
Right.
How do I begin? What do I do?
So with TikTok ads, that's a funny thing. You don't even need a TikTok account. So when you're on TikTok ads, it lets you type in a display name, which means the name that is going to be shown when you run an ad. And when people click on that, they actually go to your landing page, your website. They don't go to the profile. So you don't even need a TikTok account. All you need to do is go to the TikTok Ad Center and sign up for a TikTok Ads account, and that's it.
Hmm.
So that's where I would start. You don't even need to create any content on there. You can just run ads if that's what you want. If you don't want to do the organic side of TikTok.
All right. All right. This is great. And ROI, if we talk about an ROI, what kind of an ROI you have seen? Like, of course, I know, for different demographies,
All right.
different people have different behaviors. Buying behaviors are different. Gender have different buying behavior and stuff like that, age groups. But if we just try to kind of develop some kind of a rule of thumb or uh, to help people understand how ROI on TikTok or return on investment on TikTok ad works versus Facebook. I mean, I run some Facebook ads; these are just very expensive. Um, but what is your take on that?
All right. So to give you some numbers on TikTok ads, with my clients, we're seeing roughly an average of 3 to 3.5 return on investment (ROI).
All right.
So compared to Facebook, we do see some similar numbers sometimes on Facebook, but the average is much, much lower. I put the Facebook average return more somewhere at like 2.5, something like that. So it is a lot lower. It's still important, I think, to advertise across multiple platforms. But on TikTok, if you're not seeing something 3.0 or higher in terms of returns on average, like across all campaigns, usually there's something going on.
All right. So 3.0 is something that you should really desire, and it can go up to 3.5 or more, which actually means for those people who, for the ease of audience, is you spend $1 and your return will be about $3. So
Yeah.
you're actually earning $3. So you reduce that, which means your earning is $2, which is almost 200%.
And
Uh,
there's definitely returns possible, like $4 or $5, even $6 per dollar spent. It all depends on how willing you are to learn the creative and the platform, and how much data you have. Obviously, if you have more data, you can experiment more, which means it gets easier to find the right ad.
All right. Uh, this is awesome. Very clear direction for those who are interested in using social media advertisement to generate business. Um, Maybe I should start looking at TikTok also as a potential place to market my courses. Um, and what are some of the most popular things that are easy to sell on TikTok, right? I know fashion and luxury stuff and stuff like books are. I heard books are something that people usually buy. What are some like three or four major categories you see as their as the things that would sell more, like with lesser efforts?
Right. So I'd say obviously B2B is business to business is a little bit harder to sell, like courses and all those type of things are harder to sell, especially on TikTok, because a lot of people just think, it's a scam. And oftentimes the video ad is not just as good. It's just not
Mhm.
funny, or, those type of things. It just doesn't belong on TikTok. What's really easy to sell is like I wouldn't say three, four categories. I'd just say any product really that looks kind of fascinating, funny. I know one of my LinkedIn friends, Erica Rankin. She has cookie brodo, which is like a cookie dough,
Yeah.
and stuff like that just works really well because it's like slimy. And then you post a video and people are like, "Oh, what's that? Like that's intriguing." So I'd say
Mm.
any product really is easier to promote than a service or something. And especially if it's like something a little weird, a little fascinating.
Mhm.
I hope
So
that helps.
yeah, yeah, and weird is, by the way, different in different communities, different societies. So what US weird is maybe different from German weird, right?
Yeah,
Or a British weird, because a lot of, so working with Brits, they used to crack jokes, and I would not understand what they're talking about, because their jokes are very like local jokes, right? And once you are, and that's weird, right? For them, I was weird. For me, they were weird. So weird is very different. But again, you rightly said, there is a question coming in from. And by the way, if you have any question, you have another 5 minutes to please put your questions. I've got a great question from Harun. He is actually into Amazon stuff. So, and my student also, he's just completed his LinkedIn course that I have. So do you have any data of conversation rate? I think he's talking about conversion rate
yeah.
on of TikTok into Amazon sales. Anything you know about it?
Sure. So I don't have conversion rates right now specifically for Amazon, but I can give you some numbers on e-commerce to their own website, which I assume would be very similar to the conversion rate that Amazon sales would have. Um, Usually, the conversion rate on TikTok is a little lower than on other platforms, just because you see cost per click. So every time somebody clicks on your ad, you pay, right? Or there's a certain cost associated with it. On TikTok, you can see really low ones. So you can see clicks from 20, as low as 20 or 40 cents in that range. But at the same time, the conversion rate is a little lower just because people are very fast and it's very easy to click on the TikTok ad. So the interest in general is a little lower to buy. So I'd say in terms of numbers, a conversion rate, where on Facebook usually you wanna go for like a maybe 2% or maybe even higher. The overall conversion rate for TikTok ads, I go more towards the 1.2% in that range. So it is lower, but also the cost for impressions are insanely low. So it makes up for it. That's why they work so well. So
Awesome.
just expect lower conversion rates from TikTok ads, but because all the costs are lower too, it evens out and is a great platform.
Right. And that's why we say ROI. So, you are still investing lesser amount of money,
Yeah,
uh, whereas the conversions are low also, but you can actually invest more money and make more conversions.
yeah,
So that's a great platform to experiment with for those people. Because, a lot of my students are in the e-commerce business, and they are working globally for particularly Shopify, Amazon, and some on EST also. So for them, this is really a valuable information. And if you want to get in touch with Seven, please follow him on LinkedIn. Connect with him. He is in my connections, so if you can't find him direct, which I'm sure you will be able to. And all these comments are on this podcast. So Seven, you can also go and look at all those comments where there are people who are asking questions. You can respond to them directly and reach out to them, because again, the evolution that is taking place in terms of the buying habits and in terms of how people react to certain things is just phenomenal. Like, it's very difficult to keep a pace with that. And often we need people like you, like experts, who actually keep track of what is happening, and then kind of help people like me to target more specifically, because it's all about relevance and targeting. And on social media, regardless of on which social media you are, if you're not relevant and if you're not targeting, be it, you'll just be wasting your time and money. Uh, uh, any closing remarks? We're already 31 minutes in the podcast. Any closing remarks, Seven, from you?
Yeah, so with what you just said, that reminded me of the beginning of our conversation, which I just wanted to say one more thing about really quick. You said when you set up a course, you became an expert. And also our conversation here, when you said, to stay relevant, reach out to experts. I think that's one thing that helps most people. So just reaching out to people who have done what they want to do. For me, it like saved me so much time just to reach out to people who have set up their business before, who have traveled a lot, and it's just way easier than trying to figure it out yourself. Yeah, and like you said, if anybody wants to work with me, has any questions, feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn. My name's Sven Mucho. Or just stay up to date with my content. I post a lot about TikTok ads right now, TikTok organic, and all those type of things around marketing.
Awesome. And if you are interested in building your career as an expert, you can always follow. I mean, you must follow Seven anyways. Follow his content because you see, um, I always say, try not to follow big influencers. Try to follow micro level influencers because they are more likely to respond to your questions. The big influencers just don't have time. Most of the time, their teams are running their accounts, so they are not even there. So you can keep following people with 2 million followers or people like Gary Vee. Whenever Gary Vee's, so sometime his team responds to me. It's always, and they're very open, they're very transparent, so I like it. I will say Team Gary Vee. It's not Gary Vee who's responding. So you know stay targeted. Things are evolving too fast in this world. If we live in a shell, we'll die in a shell. Don't do it. Learn new things. New things are happening extremely fast. Talk to Seven for anything you really need to understand about TikTok ads or Facebook or Google ads. He is a traveler, so he understands cultures, and I heard that he wants to go to South Asia one day as well, which is great. And hopefully, one day I'll actually help him develop his own coaching program on social media advertising. This is Hamas Siddiqui. I'm a global LinkedIn coach. Why I say myself a global LinkedIn coach? Because in the next 3 months, my LinkedIn course is going to be translated into 12 languages. I'll be the only LinkedIn coach in the world who would have a program available in 12 languages. So, and I speak, मैं हिंदी और उर्दू बोलता हूँ, so मेरी हिंदी और उर्दू और इंग्लिश मिला के it makes me a global LinkedIn coach. So I can speak Hindi, Urdu, and English, and you can speak English and German at least. I'm sure other languages also European. Usually Europeans usually are bilingual, so I'm not sure which. Do you speak any other European language?
Well, I had French in high school for 6 years, but I'm not claiming to speak it.
Right.
I'm planning on becoming fluent in Spanish once I travel to South America, probably later this year towards
All
Christmas
right.
time.
All right. Awesome. Seven, thank you very much for your time. I'm sure it will bring more visibility to your profile. People will start talking to you, and the live session will stay on my profile. Usually within 24 hours, we usually hit more than 1,000 views on this. Sometime even more. Please, I request everyone who has joined in to connect with Seven and connect with the purpose. So you have to have your why in your mind. Don't waste his time, and he won't waste your time too. He's an expert. Follow him for his expert advice. So I'll just end this show by again thanking you, Seven, for your time. You can stay for a while. Let me just quickly go offline. And thanks to everyone who has joined in today on LinkedIn as well as on Facebook, and on, well, this will be available on YouTube also. So thank you very much.